Hello there, awakened ones. So Monica Bermuda is an intuitive quantum energy healer. I felt called to come outside to film this, even though it's the end of February and it's about to begin into the March energy. And I want to share about the 5 things about March. And it's also like unusually a bit warmer than usual in my area. So I thought it would be appropriate to come outside because of some of the nature vibe and some of the grounding energy that I feel we'll need for these new energies in March. And I was already feeling it so intense the beginning of 2023, and I feel it's going to pick up even more in March because, for one, there's a lot of planetary alignment and vibrational energies from the different portals and gateways through the planets themselves that are aligning in certain ways. And just jumping into some of the intuitive astrology that I feel, and of course, I'll share some of the key dates for March as well to track for us, as these are some really high vibrational moments that I feel for March is really going to create this new consciousness level of huge expansion for us. And I brought with me a special crystal. Actually, this one is known as a Super 7 crystal, and it's known to balance all the chakras and balance ourselves and help us to stay grounded. So I felt very appropriate to bring it. And if you've never heard of Super 7, it's a very it's turned out to be a very rare, unique type of crystal that contains about 7 very powerful crystals, and that includes the amethyst and the smoky quartz and the clear quartz crystals in it. And of course, it has other ones, and all of these crystals combined increases our psychic abilities and skills. And so I wanted to bring in some of that vibrational energy before I jump into some of these key messages and what I've been feeling with the energies, because I feel like our bodies are also going through certain upgrades because the cells are receiving so much light, so much expansiveness. And so if anything is still lingering around from past traumas and wounds and they're still there, they're going to intensify even more, or they may even manifest themselves as certain health issues themselves. And so for me, that's what I call the ascension symptoms, and there's some form of purging that is happening as well in the cells, and they're becoming even more so prominent and intensive, and I feel it may be so more in March. So towards the end of the video, I'll also share this mini oracle card reading with the Archangel oracle card deck by Diana Cooper. I felt called to read from that card deck itself. So for March, we're going to start the month with a powerful full moon, March 7th, which is when the energy is at its highest peak for the full moon energy. All full moon energy is about releasing and clearing. And so I will feel like whatever is being released and clear will help for this full moon, especially for the whatever is coming up to be purged at this time with these new energies. And that full moon is going to be in Virgo. And then we have some planetary alignments, I believe like mid-March, where Saturn will go into Pisces. And Saturn is about structures, and Pisces is very spiritual to me. And then it's very much into this water sign as well. On March 23rd, it's going to be a powerful new moon that's going to be at its highest peak on that day of March 23rd. But it's also a day when Pluto is going to go into Aquarius, and it's going to cause some other energetic movement. So you have all this combination of energies that seems to be indicating a lot of consciousness expansion and moving into this next level of consciousness and the spiritual evolution of where we are in this ascension journey itself. So some of the 5 things that I am feeling from this March energy that I want to share, 5 things is that one is a spiritual awakening at a whole new perspective. So to me, like in every awakening, there is some form of stage, that level of stages that we go through. And so I feel that this is very awakening type energy. It's almost like we are awakening to ourselves more so, and tapping more into our own soul in our heart, and really starting to look at things from a very different perspective as we are expanding and learning from past lives and the choices that we've made, the decisions that we've made, and how are we using those choices and those lessons to learn from, moving forward, and really putting that into a different perspective as an observer of, whatever is coming up. And I certainly do feel like this whole new person now, with this energy in 2023 now jumping into March, it just feels like sometimes I'm not really here. And so it feels like I'm definitely like out of this world for sure, and I feel more expansive and different with every new burst of energy that we are getting at this next level. I could feel that my body is definitely feeling a lot more of the light codes and light body in the cells. And so that's what I feel is also happening for all of us. And the number 2 thing is that consciousness level of expansion, that we are also reaching into this whole other level of spiritual consciousness and expanding even more so into this ascension energy, creating this whole spark of new consciousness level that is more collective and more humanitarian, and thinking more of the things that we're doing, how it all impacts not just ourselves but also impacts our community and all of humanity and the world itself. And the number 3 thing is that the lots of new energy that is coming up for your body will definitely intensify. So they may manifest in different ways, whether that be through emotional or physical or mental. It's all just a form of something that is being released and that is starting to shake off into like, or transmute itself, because we're going through this very transformative and transmutable type change, that we are becoming these new forms. And in the ascension journey, we're meant to take our physical body as well. Whereas before, it was unimaginable that before, when people would talk about reaching or attaining the highest ascension, it meant death, or physical death in itself, some transition, which is a transitional phase. But in this transitional phase, that we don't have to necessarily die in that form, but take on another form while we're still in this physical form. Hence why it can feel a little painful if we're still clearing up a lot of wounds and traumas from not only this past lifetime, but also from many of the human lifetimes. That's why I've made it a huge emphasis in this lifetime to really clear a lot of my patterns. And I mean, I really did so many years of work on my heart and every other aspect that I could think of to really, get clear on some of these patterns, so that at least, with these new energies, it won't be as uncomfortable as it would have been if I hadn't like really done a lot of that work, which is why I'm also sharing this message for you, so that you don't have to go through this as much in an uncomfortable and troubling way, because you definitely deserve so much better. And just knowing that we are worthy of what we are, which is our divine right to be in this joy state, in this abundant state. And so if you are definitely still suffering, then that is something for you to really evaluate your life and ask yourself, what is it in that needs to change? And it takes a lot of courage and bravery, believe me. So the number 4 thing to know about this month of March is that it feels like a very practical month of spirituality. So again, it requires some of this evaluation in our life in all the aspects of what our soul is also calling us towards. And you will know, because you'll be gravitating towards something that you feel attracted to in that moment, right? And it also may be like attraction to certain people. Sometimes those attractions to certain people may be because there's some karmic lesson to learn from them as well. So they can be confused with romantic love. And so this is where the whole awareness and consciousness comes in. And so that's why it is so important to really take the time that you need to evaluate those aspects of yourself. And that is a part of this whole consciousness expansion. And it definitely feels like that practicality in putting more effort into the spiritual side of things. And I've always emphasized that our spiritual side is always a lot more than it is the physical. And the physical is just probably like 1% approximately, whereas the spiritual is like 99% ourselves. So I would say that 99% of most of what we experience is based on energy. And the body reacts to a lot of the energy, a lot of the light codes, because it's a living organism that is a big part of the vital life force of the universe, of the cosmic, of the source itself. And that is how it gets its life through us. And it all is interconnected to the aura field, to our magnetic, electromagnetic field of ourselves, because the aura is some form of electromagnetic type energy. And so this is, one of those things that when we polish ourselves and polish a lot of the patterns, our aura expands as well, and our energetic field expands in so many other ways and levels. And so the final thing about this, the number 5 thing, is that there is some form of heart reset as well that is happening too, because it feels like it's being recalibrated, in other words. So it may feel like at times you may get emotional, just watching some like simple thing that you probably watched some time ago, and all of a sudden you start to get emotional. So it is still like recalibrating itself to be able to expand in that consciousness level of new expansive energies. And so I've always emphasized the heart energy, to start with the heart in all aspects, because that is the hub, the central point of all our aspects of ourselves and our body. And I feel like this would be the most sacred temple of the center of your entire body. So if you want to consider your physical body as like a temple, I would say that the center of that temple would be your heart. And so that is how we're being called to treat our bodies now better, and to really listen to our soul through our hearts, because when we go through our own heart reset, we're recalibrating so that we are able to receive more of these energies. So those are the 5 things that I feel for March intuitively. And now I want to jump into this card reading. And so if you haven't seen yet, I do have a free gift that is a quantum realignment type energy that's free. You can find in the description. That would help you to get energetically realigned as we jump into these new ascension symptom energies. So check it out if you want to get a copy for yourself. They are found in the description area. And so now I want to read a message from the Archangels and see what message wants to come through for this month of March energy. And shuffling this card here, see what message wants to come through for us. So what does Spirit and the angels and the archangels want to tell us right now about March? And pull this card. And it's the Archangel of Charity. Give with an open heart and be generous. So this is where I feel like it has connection with the heart reset. So, but that giving of an open heart, I feel, is more for yourself, because at times though we forget, right? And we end up giving more to others than we do to ourselves. And so it is, a message that is in alignment with the entire like heart reset, that you want to rebalance that heart into this balance of giving and receiving type energy, because that is the way as well for the divine feminine, the divine masculine blueprint that we are also realigning ourselves into, in the more, original form that we were before we were all separating and gone into this illusion of the separation. And now we are growing consciously to realize that we've always been united in an energetic way. Of course, we've always had that unity consciousness with us. And so I leave you now with this message, and I'm sending you all so much love, and I will catch you at another video. Bye for now.